Uh, Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody. This is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. And before I get started, I want to send a special shout out to our newest subscriber, 6EAV Popcorn. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for your subscription. It is well appreciated. With that being said, for all of you who are new, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you can be notified on all things from the show. And let's get started. Man, what an amazing show. Before I get into the specific angles of the show, let me just say a couple of things I'm very thankful for. First thing, a couple of weeks ago, a very verified YouTube channel known as The Elitist posted a question and a video of a video which asks, is Smackdown the A show? And with what happened tonight, it really makes it easy to debate, is it one of the shows? It is one of the top shows, I will say that. And I will say Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, New Day, Randy Orton, Matt Riddle are really making Raw good. And Alexa, even though a little bit spooky at times, I would love to see her do the Undertaker eyes. But those guys are making the show a little bit interesting. I wish they would kill off that T-Bar and Mace situation, but in any event, in JR's words. Speaking of JR, guys, we are about to have our own wars. Wow, I don't have enough words. I'm trying to get my speech together, but I need to say this first of all. I was shocked a couple of days ago when Aleister Black, who is now known as Malachi Black, made his debut in AEW. The pop that he received when the lights came back on and he delivered the blackout kick to legend Arn Anderson, mentor of Cody Rhodes, made him a bad guy, but still everybody was very excited, which is ironic because his wife, Selena Vega, is still a Smackdown star who will be attending Money in the Bank this year in less than 10 days, 1 week from Sunday. But moving on, I just wanted to talk about that because that was very shocking and very exciting at the same time. But let's get back to WWE's side of things. Speaking of Selena Vega, finally, Liv Morgan gets the opportunity she richly deserves because Carmella was announced as the replacement for Bayley, who was recently injured during training. Speedy recovery wishes to Bayley. Also, back to Carmella. Carmella was announced as Bayley's replacement, and Liv Morgan has been put in the Money in the Bank match. Well deserving, and much excellent points to her about favoritism and everything, but it is well deserved. I still think, and I know nobody cares, I still think that Kayla and Sasha and of course Vega look a lot better than Carmella. I'm just saying. But either way, nobody cares. Let's get into what we all care about. Liv Morgan finally getting the push she deserves. Also, speaking of the great females, wow, this show gets better and better because now Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox, whom we like to refer to as Lady Kane, is an official tag team on Friday Night SmackDown, leaving NXT and making the Blue Show, or the Blue brand, very interesting. So I'm very excited to see them. And I must say, what was very funny and what caught my attention is the fact that Tamina did not flinch when the Tank blew one of those toy rockets was shot into Natalya and Tamina. Tamina didn't flinch, so she's one tough woman for that. And so, but I'm very excited to have them on SmackDown, and it's just in time to keep the crowd for next week's Friday Night SmackDown interesting. I'm very excited for the fact that they are returning our audience back. Hopefully everybody is still safe, and hopefully just everything goes well and everybody just has a great time, and just have a little fun, because we haven't seen an audience in a while. So hopefully they're ready to get explosive. And speaking of a couple of explosive things, moving on, we've talked about Liv Morgan. We've talked about how excited we are for Shotzi and Tegan Knox to be on SmackDown, part of NXT. A lot of NXT chants will be reigning when those two make an appearance next week. However, moving forward, two amazing matches happened tonight. Well, one was more amazing than the other. And for one, we have Shinsuke, or should I say King Shinsuke versus Baron Corbin. And throughout the night, everyone kept talking. There's two things I noticed. Number one, Big E is wearing Bayley's t-shirt, which is a tribute to Bayley, who was recently injured. And I guess his way of saying thoughts and prayers, get well soon and speedy recovery. Also, all we talked about during that match was Corbin's hairline. I mean, my brother would have loved that, because he loves listening to hairline roasts and hairline jokes. So, but either way, that's all we talked about tonight was Corbin's hairline. And I will say this, it would be cool if Corbin grew his hair back, grew the long hair back like he had in his NXT days in his early years on the main WWE stage. Not to say that NXT is not a main stage, because it truly is, and there's a lot more electric fans there before COVID happened. Either way, once again, Baron Corbin goes into the downward spiral, losing again. I don't know what's next for the guy. And on one hand, I feel kind of bad for him. I really do. I feel kind of bad for him. But scripting wise, JR would say, you reap what you sow. But either way, hopefully Baron can bounce back and also grow his hair back, because he went from being bald to just looking, his hair looks like he needs a makeover. Just totally needs a makeover. But he should grow his hair back, because that biker look that he had, there will never be another Undertaker. But that look that he had and that biker bad donkey attitude was pretty cool. So I think he should grow his hair back. It'll look a lot cooler, in my personal opinion. Also, Shinsuke qualified to be in the Money in the Bank match, and in the next match we had Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, and that was an amazing match. There's one thing I am mad about, however. There's one thing I'm very upset about. I'm mad at y'all for letting us miss the Cesaro swing and let it happen during the commercial break. As soon as it went on commercial, by the way, let's talk about how interesting it was that Cesaro reversed the double vertical suplexes, in which Seth, all these consonants. When Seth Rollins did a superplex from the top rope, he usually follows up with what is called the Falcon Arrow. But Cesaro reversed it, which I have not seen done in a long time, and both guys went flying out of the ring. But I am upset at you guys for not letting us see the Cesaro swing. We only saw it end when it came back from commercial break, and he put on the sharpshooter. So I'm a little mad at y'all for that. But also, I am a little bit thankful, because there were a couple of times where I thought the match was going to end via roll-up. And also, I am so thankful we didn't see no roll-ups tonight. I mean, just thank you, SmackDown, for giving us a break from the roll-ups. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. But nonetheless, an amazing match with Seth Rollins winning a hard-fought victory against Cesaro and becoming another contestant in the Money in the Bank. And I must say, to be honest, my money is on Drew McIntyre, to be honest, in my opinion. However, Seth Rollins is hilarious. I have never seen anybody so happy. He hugged Kayla outside the ring, or should I say, Kaylin, based on the funny yet very tense smack talk between Kaylin and Vega last week on Talking Smack. That was funny. Thank you, Pat McAfee. But either way, Seth hugged Kaylin. Kaylin was like, okay, he's happy. That's great. But either way, Seth won, only to be encountered by Edge. They had a face-to-face moment, and I would love to see those two face off. That would be an amazing dream match. But we're going to get a good dream match this Sunday. No, 1 week from Sunday, my apologies, with Edge versus Roman Reigns. And we opened up the show tonight with Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso. Thankfully, Jimmy Uso is not fired, because for those of you WWE fans who follow the wrestlers on social media, you know that Jimmy Uso got into a huge heap of trouble over the 4th of July weekend for driving while intoxicated. Guys, don't drink and drive. And it's so crazy. We're seeing a couple of athletes get in trouble. We saw in the Olympics the female runner get in trouble for having marijuana intoxicated in her system. And now we got Jimmy Uso getting in trouble for getting drunk. But thankfully, according to tonight's episode, Jimmy Uso is not fired. Thank goodness. Thank you, God, for your grace. So Jimmy is still on SmackDown, and I was very concerned. Would he be on the show, or was he fired? But thankfully, he's not fired. Thank God for second chances. Hallelujah. So Jimmy Uso is still on SmackDown, and Roman Reigns managed to bring Jey Uso back, and they're going to try at some point to go for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which are possessed by the returning Dominic and Rey Mysterio, who were powerbombed out of the ring in recent weeks in the past. And Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic are back in the ring. It's crazy because Edge called out Roman, who wanted to go at it alone, which I will respect. Roman is one of those heels who actually wants to win cleanly, alongside with Seth Rollins, who won his match cleanly. Not every heel has to have backup. But that was a very epic match between those two, Cesaro and Seth. Very epic. It was great to see Kevin Owens on commentary, as well as it was seeing Big E for the previous match with Shinsuke and Baron Corbin. I will say this, though, going back to Shinsuke and Baron Corbin. Rick Boogs, I like the fact that when he says, Shinsuke Nakamura, I can't do the voice, but I will say this. When he does Shinsuke's introduction, it's cool. Which is so much better than Monday Night Raw, because on Monday Night Raw, we have Eva Marie, who is just occupying TV time in a very awful form, and just busting our eardrums out, because when she announces her name, it is so awful. I think I got one good ear. This ear is not my best ear, but this is my strongest ear, and I feel like this ear is gonna die when I hear Eva Marie say her name and announce herself as the victor. I'm just like, ah. Matter of fact, when I look at the highlights from Monday Night Raw, I'm going to make sure to mute Eva when she announces her name, because, God, I thought they were going to do something with her. And all they did was just have her sit around, look cute, and just blow our eardrums out when she announces her name. Eva Marie! Ah, my ear. But Rick Boogs does it a lot better. And so moving on, as I was saying, I'm glad Jimmy Uso is not fired. I'm glad he's still on SmackDown because they took it pretty serious. I mean, you have Jimmy Uso, he fell short, just like many years ago, RVD and Jeff Hardy in separate arenas fell short. And we all remember Jeff Hardy. They didn't talk about it because it was in another promotion, but we all remember what happened when Jeff Hardy tried to wrestle Sting at TNA, I believe, No Surrender, and it was a total disaster, a total disaster. And so it takes a while for people to, sometimes you got to fall a couple of times before you get yourself together, and everybody can happen. Everybody falls short at some point, but I'm just so glad that Jimmy's there. The family is united, which is going to make this thing a lot interesting because Ray and Dominic are back. And I will say that even though Jimmy did get punished for what he did, in my humorous opinion, by having the cross face put on him again, and if it was on video, I would have typed in the very minute and second and said, that was your punishment for getting drunk. But either way, I'm sweating, excuse me. But either way, he's back. Jerry's back. Roman and the family line is going to be great. It's still a great storyline. And with Edge, Ray, and Dominic standing tall together, there needs to be a tag team match next week on SmackDown between Roman and the Usos versus Edge, Ray, and Dominic. That would be an amazing main event. I hope we see that next week. But until then, I'm just glad Jimmy's not fired. And that's all the time I got for you today. And I'll be back another time for another edition of The Danny Show. Peace out.